Hello. Welcome back to Burning Yammer. I'm Burt.
And I'm Anthony.
Oh, are you Lord Alfred Hayes this session?
Oh, you shouldn't worry about that, Sonny. Here, let me get Mangier over here, my manservant, to bring out all my wrestling news. Yes. Thank you, Mangier.
Why does this work on me? Like, I don't understand why, the concept of a snooty British announcer is really great to me, and the idea of, David Attenborough watching a wrestling match is really great, but the minute it starts happening, it's just like, this sucks. It's like capitalism. It's a great idea on paper, you know?
Well, I mean, I think we just have to admit that British wrestling peaked when, Big Daddy won the championship.
God damn it.
And, that was like the heyday, and they just have to accept it.
Why do all British people know Big Daddy? Is he like the giant Baba of Britain? Like, because I think, I'm outing my therapist. I talked to my therapist. She's like Scottish, and Scottish expat.
Hell yeah. Oh,
sure.
So soothing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but please tell me about your problems today.
But it was funny because it was like, oh yeah, I'm doing a podcast on Japanese wrestling. She's like, oh, like sumo wrestling? I'm like, no, like professional, like the fake shit. She's like, oh, I think we had that about. It's like, oh, you're from Britain? Yeah, it'd be like Big Daddy. She's like, oh, right. Yep. They all just know. They just know Big Daddy. He's everybody's daddy over there. Like,
he's the biggest daddy.
He's like the Wilt Chamberlain or the Genghis Khan of Britain.
Hello, Lisa. You will pin who I pin. You will gig who I gig.
It's just weird how he's so omnipresent, and I don't think he's renowned for his work. I guess Hulk Hogan's omnipresent over here, and he's not renowned for his work either, but
I have watched some of the old British catch wrestling, and it is a strange combination of what we would call today World of Sport and comedy in a way that was taken seriously, like Johnny Saint. I don't know if you know.
I've heard
that
of him.
Name. Yeah. He was the GM for WWE NXT UK.
That's right. Right.
And he's one of the people. He didn't invent, but he was one of the people that pioneered literally tying someone up in a pretzel.
Yeah, I assume old British wrestling is the vaudevillains, but for real. Punch and Judy shit,
Yeah, so Simon Gotch really was just fighting all those people in catering.
Yeah, and they didn't have any Enzo Amores around to ruin everything. Anyway.
God damn.
Today, we are watching, or we did watch. We're going to watch it live, and you're going to listen.
We're watching it right now.
We watched. We're back to the regular schedule of horrible men's, awful misogynist podcast. Men's AJPW TV. January 20th, 1990, taped at Ueda Citizen Gymnasium in Ueda, Nagano, Japan. Yes.
Yeah. One, it's good to, be back to the regular programming, because,
Well, Giant Bob showed up, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I do have to say, after learning all that I did about Baba, and the fact that this episode revealed that it was Giant Baba talking to us the whole time.
It was, yes.
On commentary.
It's like the Wizard of Oz. They pulled back the curtain.
Well, we finally got confirmation, because I didn't want to go, okay, that's a very deep sounding voice. I didn't want to just be that has to be Giant Baba.
Yeah, that's racist.
I suspected. Well, no, it's not.
Yes, everybody with a deep sounding voice has to be Giant Baba. I see how it is.
Okay.
You hear Barry White on the radio. Why is Giant Baba singing to me? This is very strange.
The dulcet tones of Bing Crosby Baba.
Giant Crosby. Yeah.
the giant Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Oh no. For Dead in Tokyo is what they're doing with that. I hate that song. Anyway, the first match of the show. Well, first of all, okay, we get the opening. Like, here's what happened. It's a clip, like a 1 minute clip montage of what happens on the show, and I've taken to like just turning my brain off when this happens, so I don't. They literally have the ending of a match in this fucking clip montage, so I'm like, I'm not paying attention to this. I'm not looking at it. I look away and pretend it's not happening. But I will say, it is really, really, really funny hearing the Pomp and Circumstance fight song with the dun 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 dun. While Abdullah is elbow dropping somebody.
God.
It's just the funniest
also,
thing.
Yeah, like, and the thing is, like, after watching those Giant Baba matches and stuff, I realized that Giant Baba ran around with that as his entrance theme half the time.
I think they just didn't have another entrance. I think they were like, what do you think about this, Baba? And he was like, like, and they were like, really? This one? And so they were just like, oh, okay, all right. I guess this is kind of American.
Was he just thought that record players and those horrible cassettes and 8-tracks were gangster stuff, and he just, like the Blue Jeans, just said, nope. Wrestlers do not come out to music, not at all.
I would like my music played out of Victrola, please. Can you crank up that gramophone? You know? Anyway, so we cut straight into the first match. It's Abdullah the Butcher and Randy Rose versus Yoshiaki Yatsu and Shinichi Nakano. So we've seen the first two guys. Abdullah's been, I feel like it was on like 2 shows. Maybe it was just on 1.
Yeah, I think this is his 3rd appearance.
Yeah, and Randy was on the last show where he fought Misawa?
Kenta.
Oh, Kenta. Okay, that's right. Yep. And the other 2 I have never seen. If you've seen
we
them,
have
cool.
seen Yoshiaki Yatsu.
When did we see him? Do you remember?
You remember the sumo wrestler tag team?
Oh,
from a
no,
weeks
that's
ago?
why I blocked that out of my mind. Yeah.
Well, no, that was a pretty decent match. Like, they looked cool.
Okay.
But Yoshiaki Yatsu was part of that team, but I do not believe we have seen Shinichi Nakano.
I don't think so. But we cut straight into the match. Abdullah tagging in and choking Yatsu on the bottom rope before Nakano smashes him in the head with a metal case over and over. I had
like
to
6 times.
Yeah, I had to like immediately pause and Google both Japanese guys because there were no intros, and I don't remember either. So I'm instantly like, wait, okay, hold on. I have to get names, or else I'm going to be like. It did not help. They had the exact same gear, like exactly the same.
They were very indistinct. Because at least when Yoshiaki Yatsu was tagging with the other guy had like the high ponytail, or knot in his hair, and so you were able to like tell them apart from a distance because one, like, this footage is grainy. This footage is like...
It's an old TV show.
Dirty. It's an old TV show that looks like it got drugged through the mud.
Yeah. It's clearly transferred off a tape, which is fine. Now, luckily, Shinichi Nakano is bigger and has a goatee. So I was like, okay, I have them now. But I had no intro nothing. They didn't go Nakano, Shinichi, and then he raised his hand. Like it was just like, oh, they're killing each other. Okay. So Abdullah comes out of the ring to fight. Who hit him? I think it was Nakano. No, it was Yatsu.
It was Yatsu.
He comes out to fight him, and Yatsu does the closed fists. I have closed fists him. Phrasing. And then he gets a sideways body slam on the outside on Abdullah. I was like, good on you for trying, bud, but that is a big boy. I mean, I know you want to show off, but be careful.
He lifted Abdullah a total of about 8.5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And like Abby took the safest, softest bump on the outside that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Which like maybe that's just why he's, gained so much bulk, is he's just like, no one can lift me up and slam me real hard.
I have Abdullah's already busted open, laugh out loud. I'm pretty sure I know he probably gigged because he always does, but his head is so like, I just get the feeling like you could flick Abdullah in the head and it would just pop everywhere and blow blood everywhere. Like that dude is just, he's a gig machine. So
the funny thing about this one was, Abby got hit on top of the head with the like storage container,
the case, yeah,
and Abby gigged on top of his head.
Yeah. That's why I was like, I don't know. I mean, he was bleeding a lot though. He must have gigged. Like,
oh yeah. I mean,
it looked like
the thing is, I saw him, like after it happened, he like, went to, like grab his head, but I saw him tapping.
Yeah.
And,
he tapped out.
And Abby is notorious for having razors like on the tips of his fingers in order to do that.
I don't know how do you get rid of it after you do it?
He used to, but then he'd just keep it on for the whole match, and he'd just start gigging people against their will.
That's terrifying. Yeah, like I mean, just like I would be scared. I'd be scared to do it anyway. I'd be scared just to gig, but I mean, like I would be scared that like I'd get my hand caught on something, like on myself. Like I don't know, I'd accidentally scratch myself or fix my gear and fuck up my, like it'd just be fucked up. Like I'd be like, nope. No, thank you. They work a little. I have Abdullah looks absolutely gassed already. And luckily he goes to tag Randy Rhodes in.
He does a sweet guitar riff.
Yeah. He plays Crazy Train. There's a great backdrop and power slam into a fire up by Nakano. I was pretty into Nakano here. I have Randy Rhodes loves getting caught up in the ropes. Because he did this last time against Kobashi. He did the falling back on the ropes comedy spot.
And the crowd like laughed at him.
Yeah. And here it wasn't so comedic, but he was definitely like, he was between the second and third one, but he wasn't like tied up. He was just like sideways, like bouncing around in there. And I was like, okay, just stand up, dude. Just get up. You're fine. At this point, we're maybe 3 minutes into the match. Yeah. The announcer starts, I'm pretty sure the announcer is giving time. Like, it's like, in the background, and I'm like, oh, we definitely missed a bunch of this match. Like, they cut in. Yeah. They cut in pretty hard. I
gotta say, like, whenever we first get in there, like, one thing that really impressed me is, did you see the monkey flip that Abby took?
From who? I don't even think I have that.
Oh yeah, it was Yoshiaki Yatsu.
Okay.
Because it was right after he got slammed on the outside.
Wow.
And he got back in, and Yatsu sent him for a ride against the ropes, and then did a monkey flip to Abdullah the Butcher.
Wow, I missed that. I don't know how I missed that. That's crazy. Though.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like Abby literally like flipped as much as he could.
Yeah. Maybe this is while I was Googling.
Yeah, it was like real low to the ground, but he actually got full on over. And
Nice.
then
Maybe that's
we
why he
have
was
right
gassed.
here. Yeah, he did one move, and then like then Nakano got tagged in, and I just have wrote here an A for effort suplex, because did you see that? Oh my god.
Was it like a vertical?
He went for a vertical suplex, but there's a trick you can do to like pretend that you suplex someone, and that's like shoving your legs in
Forward.
under yourself and outward.
Yeah.
And
then they just do a flip. Yeah.
Yeah, he had to do that to Abby, because Abby like literally jumped 2 inches off the ground.
Yeah, you'd have to wrench him up there, and good fucking luck. Like, yeah, you'd hurt yourself.
And so dude looked like a Looney Tunes character, like starting his legs out to like run really fast.
Now I kind of want to. I don't, but I kind of want to go back and watch it.
It's amazing. Those first like 2-3 minutes are like wild.
Hey, that's like, half the match.
Hey, thankfully, no, it needs it.
Yeah, I have Yatsu's dropkick is real nice. But Abdullah gets the elbow drop for the win, and he does his shitty Steve Blackman chops. However, now the chops I can't get with. I think it's goofy as fuck. I think it's like, it's pandering to me. It's like, I'm in Japan, so I'll pretend I'm doing Japanese martial arts, which is like, oh, fuck off. Like, come on. It's like if, it's like if like, well, I mean, this would admittedly be great, but it's like if Okada came over here and he started doing like finger guns and wearing a cowboy hat and saying yeehaw. I mean, that would be awesome, but it would be pandering.
I would love it.
He doesn't need to do that.
I would love it.
I do have, though, after he does the shitty chops, he bows to the crowd, which I actually think is really sweet. And everybody kind of claps, like, yay, that's nice, cool. Yeah. Like, he doesn't have to do that. He's Abdullah the Butcher. He could just kill her. He could run into the crowd like fucking Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, that's the thing. Right at this moment, I think Abdullah is doing a face run in Japan.
Yeah, you can tell.
Like, because also another thing, like during the match, is anytime Abdullah like started, hurting someone, or chopping them or anything, like you just hear the crowd going "Shah, Shah, Shah."
Yeah, they were into the whole show actually like that. They were into their faces. After he does the bowing, he does walk out to stare at Baba, who shrugs him off, but the crowd is like popping for him right next to him. Like, it looked like he was going to go out in the crowd, but he's like, just stares at Baba, and Baba's just like looking off into the distance, like he doesn't. Is Abdullah over there? I can't tell. So Desne, I'm busy over here. I'm trying to commentate, buddy.
So like half of the matches that I was like combing through to get like Giant Baba matches, a lot of them were against Abdullah the Butcher. Apparently they wrestled like 1,000,000 fucking times. And
I'm sure the work rate must have been incredible.
Oh, can you imagine just one lanky,
Ring General Baba. Yeah.
Ring General Baba. Yeah. Just a lanky chicken-armed man versus the immovable blob of Abdullah.
I'm sure Baba won all of them too.
I mean, maybe he should.
Yeah. So for this match, I have it didn't have time for anything to really happen. Rose barely got to work, which is silly in my opinion, because he's the guy that can work. Plus, Abdullah is limited, to say the least. I have an affection in the same way I have for Baba. But Baba is almost also limited, to say the least. So I gave it a 1.75 out of 1 3/4 out of 5. I only give it 3/4 because the three other dudes tried. They just didn't have time. Like the two Japanese guys did work, and their moves look cool, but it was like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So you know.
Yeah, like Yoshiaki at one point hits like an amazing power slam on
Yep.
Randy Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
Is very good, and
Mm-hmm.
like they were bumping for Abby because like in the
Yep.
last little bit, a dude runs full, I can't remember which one it was, runs full tilt boogie at
Yep.
Abby, and Abby like throat chops him out of the air, and it actually looked
Yeah.
pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it looked great. Because of the
But
selling. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was short and sweet, which I think is to its benefit. But it's honestly like not much
Yeah.
to look at. So, 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5 what?
2 out of 5 finger razor blades from Abdullah the Butcher.
God. Yikes. That's perfect because it's out of 5. He's got 5 fingers. It's perfect.
He's got
really, you might have to go out of 10. No, 20 because he's got him on his toes too. You know, just kicking people with his fucking razor toes. So,
have you ever noticed that Abdullah sometimes will wear like the old school like piccolo shoes with the little curl
with the curls, the fucking the chic boots. I love those things.
Oh yeah,
I wish Sabu had those. It would have been so cool.
I know, right? Like, okay, so I've only ever seen those shoes like in caricature.
Yes.
And I wonder if that's a real, actual, like, Middle
Eastern I wonder
person,
if it's I'd have to assume it would feel weird if that's something racist just made up, you know?
Yeah, because like you can even go back to like Bugs Bunny cartoons and see Hassan the Chopper like in those shoes, and it's like, and I'm also like wondering like what's the purpose of having what's like the meaning of it, because like most everywhere else in the world has like a pointed toe, that like lays horizontal, or like a square toe, because square toes were like easier to craft and make back in the day. And so what made them decide that like that really elegant curl, was to be like a standard for shoemaking.
Weirdly, I was looking this up and I didn't know what to put to Google it, Mm-hmm. It's like when you know a song but all you know is like do. So
and you just get back the Dido song all the time.
Right. So I put in curly boots, and I got very weirdly I got Mexican pointy boots, which apparently were a fashion quote unquote craze in the 2010s. They're like boots with really long upward points, and apparently it was like an ironic comedic fashion craze in Mexico as like a joke. Like they'd wear cowboy hats and really, really long pointy boots at the which honestly I'm kind of there for it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Make fun of Americans, please. We deserve it.
Well, I don't know if it was to make fun of Americans, but they are cool. However, the upturned toe appeared around the time of the Hittites of Anatolia, circa 1500 BC, modern-day Turkey, and occurred throughout Asia. The curled-toed shoe was depicted in artwork of foot troop soldiers. As the curled toe trend spread, it seems they had no specific purpose, but originally it may have been to protect the toes by extending the sole upward. Contact with the Middle East during the Crusades brought the fashion of pointed toes to Europe, and the trend peaked during the Renaissance period, where they were known as poulaines or krakos. Krakoas? Krakoas. Crakowes. I don't know how to pronounce that. Krakows. The length of the toe is a measure of the wearer's social status, where longer pointed shoes equal higher status. So this is a real thing, which is good to know, because I'm glad to know this isn't a weird, made-up racist thing that people just put. I mean, nowadays it is anyway, because if anybody's wearing them to represent their Middle Eastern, it's
usually in costume, or
it's what's the word? Anachronism. Like nobody actually wears them anymore, so it's very like deliberately. It's like a Colonel Rob Parker or whatever being a Southern dandy. Yeah. Like, it's so like ludicrous. Nobody acts like that anymore. But we have him dancing around acting.
I say, can you bring me a sweet tea out here, boy?
Yeah.
Just Colonel Rob Parker.
Maybe he really is like that, though. That would be very strange.
Just might be.
Yeah. Anyway, they found the one guy.
I say, boy, can you hand me that steel chair over there? My confidant in the ring is in need of a little bit of
he was like, what if I took
extrication from his dangerous situation?
What if I took Dusty Rhodes and took it 8 steps further and more racist? So the next match, though.
Mm-hmm.
The returning British Bulldogs versus Tiger Mask and Kenta Kobashi.
I was losing it.
I have a lot of notes. And okay, I'll be honest. I was worried because I mean, Kobashi's been good, but he's not like the Kobashi up to now. He wasn't the Kobashi I have heard about. He's just good. Yeah. And Misawa, same. He's been Tiger Mask, and he's been great, but, like, he's just I mean, I'd hate to say just Tiger Mask, but, like, that's what he does. He does, I mean, he does Misawa stuff, but, like, he's not, he's not himself yet. And I feel like he's generally relegated to backup. Like, he's usually backing up his tag partner, in my opinion. And the British Bulldogs, I've mainly been irritated at how they win every time. Dynamite's been off, and it hasn't really clicked with me much, and I've been watching them every week, which has become kind of like, I get it, like, get them out of here. Now, I was pleasantly surprised, to say the least.
This match? Wow.
Yeah. We do start this without intros, but I'm positive it's just the start of the match, because like they're just facing off, and then they go, and it's Misawa and Davey Boy, and they start chain wrestling.
I'll be goddamned.
I was like, and the crowd pops. By the way, they just start popping. They're like, oh, they're chain wrestling, and my thing was like, I popped because I'm like, Davey Boy Smith, what the fuck? Like, I know you're like decent in the ring, but like I ain't never seen this guy do no flip out chain wrestling.
I'm used to Davey Boy Smith later on in his, even in the new generation era, like blowed up beyond all belief. He's not flexible. He can't move. And here this dude is like cartwheeling out of head scissors. Like, doing insane, like, flip outs and everything. And I'm like, what the hell?
But even during this time, like, he was in, like, matches against the Warlord, which are fine, don't get me wrong, but he was not, even when he did tag matches in the US, just not doing this type of stuff. I was, like, immediately blown away. Also, I will say, I almost skipped over this, but we didn't get the intros, but we started in ring. So apparently we have lots of wrestling to get through on the show. Cody, I'm looking at you. Get rid of the intro, Cody, so we have time to watch the wrestling. You fucker. I know I'm along the right on the experiment that we're currently on, because this is working out on the show as a good experiment, but they gotta kill the intro. They need to do it. The only other option that I'm okay with is in lieu of the experiment that they're doing is they just make the intro longer every week. They get more convoluted. Like, that would be fine.
I mean, maybe we'll get it because, the experiment has hit a breaking point at this point in time because, a fan threw Cody's belt back and now he's getting angry. And I can't help but think that they were trying to get this to happen for months.
In the case that you're listening years and years later, I mean, and you didn't hear the Full Gear show we did, I have become convinced they are doing some kind of weird wrestling experimentation with Cody's character because they refuse to turn him heel and everybody hates him. So they put him in matches where like they have nothing but blind tags and he gets all the heat on him and people cheer for the heels even though it makes no they just keep like I'm pretty sure there's some madman backstage, possibly Tony Khan, who's just like, what's the weirdest type of tag match I can book every week? How can I make it weirder every week and involve Cody? He's like Cody is like the lament configuration of wrestling right now. He just opens the portal to like fucking bizarre like insanity every week, and they just keep doing
You wanted strange tag team wrestling, and I came.
Exactly. So anyway, this is really tangential. They did chain wrestling, and I was like, whoa, hold on. Then
Kenta gets tagged in.
Yes.
And it's Kenta versus Davey, and the big boys are here. Holy shit.
Yeah, they have a test of shoulder blocks where they don't go down. And then Dynamite and Davey give him a headbutt. And Dynamite comes in to just annihilate Kobashi off the ropes like this. And he gives him a vertical that's just like, just snatches the dude up and is like, you're going up. I'm throwing you over my head. And it's like, I have... what is the note I have? I have, dude, relax. I know like Dynamite can't hear me, but like somebody needs to sit Dynamite down and go, listen, just calm down. Okay? Fella. I mean, you are hitting the ropes like at 800 miles an hour and barreling into people. Like if I was them, I'd be like, gee, I mean, I'm sure kind of Kobashi. I mean, he's a big dude and he can take it, but like, fuck's sake, dude, calm down.
Yeah, I mean, just the way they're hitting the ropes, I'm expecting them to, like, get flame trails and start going back to 1988. Like, holy shit. They are trying to go to another dimension.
Yeah, well, Dynamite specifically, though, he hit the ropes so hard and then ran into Kobashi so hard. And then instantly just like, okay, get up, I'm giving you a vertical. It's like, dude, hold on. Like, you just did a crazy fucking spot. Like, and the dude's probably like out of breath and you're just throwing him. At this point, Giant Baba mumbles a few things on commentary. I have that he sounds like Big Show, which makes sense. But he does sound like Big Show on comment. It's the, wow, QT's out there, like, it's very,
that
like...
deep resonance. Like...
It also kind of wanders around, like... I don't know what he's saying, but I can tell it's kind of like... it's kind of wandering like, from place to place, yeah.
The other announcer, like, sounds very good. Like, granted, I don't know Japanese. But, half the time, like, he sounds super excited. He sounds like he's calling all the moves, like... He is doing a hell of a job and, like, really pulling Baba through it. And, like, it reminds me of, like, not to say, this is only my, like, point of reference, but, like, Joey Styles was very good at, like, calling the action and doing it in a way that, like, helped the other people to, really lay in their points in, weird, in direct ways.
Yeah. And also,
it seems like that guy's doing that for Baba, and it really works, honestly.
Yeah, and I feel Styles kind of has a slightly deserved reputation as being kind of screechy, like a total elimination, that whole cat fight. But like the thing is like he would only do that when it was time to do that. Like he wouldn't just do it every match. Like he would. And my other thing about Joey is like. And actually the AEW announcers have kind of cottoned onto this. Joey used to, like, the Dudleys would come out and he'd be like, I don't know, like, I don't care about what I have to say on this show because I hate those fucking Dudley boys. And he wouldn't say fucking, but, you know, I hate those Dudleys and I hope they burn in hell or whatever. And I'd be like, Jesus Christ, Joey, like, calm down. But, like, that was the thing, is he got over the fact that you're not supposed to like these guys. Like, you should hate them. They are vile people. And on AEW, you know, MJF comes out and the whole desk is just like, this guy fucking sucks. I hate this dude. I hope he gets the crap beat out of him, you know?
Tony Schiavone, he's like, oh, what a prick.
Yeah, and somebody will try to talk. They're like, well, let's see what he has to say. He's like, no, I don't want to hear what he has. They're very, like, I'm like, that's good. I wish there was more. There's, like, not any of that on WWE, and there hasn't been for years. I know the commentating in WWE has been a problem for decades, but it would really help if you had somebody who was just like, that was JR's thing. I mean, I know everybody remembers, like, stop the damn match and stuff like that, but, like, he really used to be like, oh, come on. Like, when the heel was talking, he would get, like, animated
personally
and angry.
Incensed.
Yes.
But also, like, something that I think actually helps give the commentators, like, personality,
right,
is whenever, despite, like, you know, heel or face status, if they actually dislike someone or like someone despite the, you know, if, like, a face commentator likes a heel because they have, like, history together.
Yeah.
You know, like, even during, like, you know, at the beginning of Stone Cold's, you know, heel run, JR was all the time like, well, this isn't the man I know, but by God, he's getting the job done.
Yeah, like, I have to give it to him. You really have to hand it to the Undertaker for crucifying Stephanie McMahon. You gotta hand it to him. He knew what he was doing. But yeah, Punk, when he was doing commentary like weeks back, I don't remember who he was commentating on, but it was definitely like, it was a heel. And he was very deliberately being like, well, you know, everybody sees them as bad, but, like, they are doing what they need to do in the ring. And he's like a face, ostensibly. But he'll still,
I think
like,
it was Bobby Fish.
You're right, I think. Yeah. But he would be like, somebody like that. That's a good. Yeah, people don't like Bobby, but he's doing what he has to do in the ring, and he tells the story of the match regardless of. Yeah. That's cool too. Anyway.
And this announcer, like, gives me all of the good vibes that I have, because I feel, you know, I know the cadence of how, like, announcing goes.
Yeah.
And so it really seems like, one, he's a hard worker. Two, it really seems like he is all the time putting people over, because he just sounds so excited all the time.
I'll have to research who it is.
Yeah. We need to figure that out, because he's, like, all these positive things that we're talking about announcers doing, it seems like this guy is doing it.
Yeah, he's great. Who is the color commentator for 90s AJPW? Oh, this is funny. It's a Reddit post, the first thing I get. Who is the color commentator for 90s AJPW? Watching old AJPW, and the color guy sounds like Kermit the Frog. Who is he? And then the first comment, I believe that's Giant Baba. Thanks.
Fucking goddamn it.
He doesn't sound like Kermit the Frog.
Like Kermit the Frog if he had roid rage, maybe.
Kenji Wakabayashi? No, wait. No. Kenji Wakabayashi was... Well, yeah. That was play-by-play, 1985 to 1995. Kenji Wakabayashi.
Yeah, he's play-by-play. Color is Baba.
Yeah. And I searched his name on Google and found practically nothing. But thank you. You're really great. We like your commentary. So, back to the match. Because I was talking about Baba and mumbling. Davey Boy gets back in, and Kenta gives him the all caps X-Pac spinning heel kick. Now, I wrote this down in all caps because I was like, oh, wow, it's X-Pac spinning heel kick. I did not know what was to come on the rest of the show.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
Get ready for it.
Anyway, yes. So, Misawa gives Davey Boy a picture-perfect monkey flip, and this man cartwheels out of it.
Amazing.
I was already impressed with Davey, but then I was like, hold on, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you never do this shit. I have. Seeing Davey Boy work like this actually kind of makes me mad. Because I never get to see this dude work like this ever. And
it's one of those things of like the last couple of outings that we've had with the British Bulldogs, they have obviously had some problems, like backstage, real life, like Dynamite has like blowed up and like shrunk down in weird fucking ways, like he lost his steroids or something.
He's transforming every week into a different person. Yeah,
and they're constantly pissed off and wild. In the last match that they had, like Davey Boy Smith is yelling at Dynamite to, stop beating the shit out of someone.
Yep.
And in this one, holy shit, they're a team. Like, this is a well-oiled machine, and they came here to work, and holy shit, this match rules.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe they got pushback last week. Maybe Bobo or somebody sat them down and was like, y'all got to work this out, and just, you can do all you want outside the ring, but when you're in the ring, you got to work. I don't know, but it fucking worked, because maybe they're just on their drug cycles this week. I don't know. It's
maybe Davey Boy has taken the right amount of cocaine.
He's just in the right exact spot. So yeah, he does his cartwheel. He flexes to the crowd, and then Misawa gives him X-Pac spinning heel kick number 2. They're just going with the spinning heel kicks. So Dynamite and Kobashi tee off. And here is the exact moment. Because listen, Kobashi's always been good. This is the exact moment where I'm like, oh, I know why people like Kenta Kobashi. Because they start teeing off on each other, and Kobashi's fire is just, it's ungodly. It's just like, you just want to get behind him immediately. He just starts firing up. In the middle of just strikes. Like, it's just like... プレーは十分にゆっくりと考えたい。世田谷の合宿所で2人でみっちりと練習をすると、このようにタイガーマスクと小橋が元気はつらつ語っておりました。キッドが攻め込む。
Beating the fuck out of each other. Like, these slaps and punches sound like gunshots.
Yeah.
And they are both screaming the whole time. Like Dynamite has this, specific thing where he's like,
yes, yeah, he's a weirdo.
And then you have Kenta, where Kenta's just like,
yeah,
with everything he's doing.
プレーは十分にゆっくりと考えたい。世田谷の合宿所で2人でみっちりと練習をすると、このようにタイガーマスクと小橋が元気はつらつ語っておりました。キッドが攻め込む。
And it sounds like, two cats that you've given the super soldier serum to fighting in an alley.
Jesus Christ. That's like that's like if you put like the bunny and
the bunny and the beast Brock Lesnar in the same room. Bunny rises
Lex Luger.
Above.
The bunny versus Lex Luger, because the bunny's like rah, rah, the whole time, but Lex Luger's like wah, wah.
Lex Luger's just like, I don't know. Your shirts are too small.
Too tight, mommy. Okay, so
I killed Elizabeth.
Oh no. Davey Boy throws Kobashi into the rail on the outside. Kobashi comes back off the rail. Davey Boy military presses this man straight up doesn't like get him up and then push him up. He just fucking flat transfers him up into military press and throws him through the second and third rope back into the ring. Dude,
that is a 260-pound man.
I don't know what Davey Boy's on. If it's coke, I'm surprised, because it's just like, dude, like, it's beyond working your ass off at this point. It's just like he's a different person. Like, it's like I'm watching a different wrestler, which is like, what the fuck is happening? So he throws him back in. Yeah, I said I really want to know what the hell happened with Davey at this point. Like, I would have loved like a interview in the middle of this match. They just stop the match. Somebody freeze time and take Davey out of the ring and be like, Davey, what is going on with you right now? And just have him walk me through it, you know? Anyway.
Well, if you see, I'm waiting for
I'm bizarre.
I'm bizarre. Where's my title shot?
So here, there's a very goofy sequence here. And this does, I don't know how I feel about this. Davey Boy pushes Kobashi. He has him by the neck, like in a headlock or something or whatever. He pushes Kobashi into Kobashi's corner, where Misawa is ready. Like, he reaches out to get the tag. Kobashi tags him. And then Davey just pushes Misawa back into his corner and tags Dynamite. And I'm like, okay, why is Misawa selling this? Should have got in the ring and kicked Davey Boy's ass, or at least taken a move. Like, if he took like a body slam or even just a clothesline, I'd be like, okay, now he can sell. But he just lets Davey Boy, like, he doesn't even headlock him. He just pushes him by the head over into Davey Boy's corner and tag. And I think it was just like, oh, we're both kind of tired. And Misawa and Dynamite, it's their turn to do their spots. Which is like, okay, but just do a move. Just call a spot.
This was the thing. I was loving this match, you know, and then here is the first crack.
Yes. Yeah, it was my Misawa shouldn't have been selling. All you'd have to do is have Misawa get in, give you a strike or something. It doesn't matter. He can do whatever he wants, and then you just knee him in the gut, throw him into your own corner, run over and make the tag. It's not like I could literally, that's just me improvising it off the top of my head. But do a spot. Don't just, we're going to walk over here. Why? Like,
yeah, and the thing is, I don't think it's Misawa's fault, because
I don't think so.
You are expecting the British Bulldogs, a world famous and world traveled tag team, to know what to do in wrestling. So, you know, Davey calls the lockup, they lock up, and Misawa's like, all right, what are we doing? I'm
going to walk you over here.
We're going, okay, what
They didn't even really lock up, by the way. Like, he just grabbed him by the head, which is like, for fuck's sake, like, he's not, why is he selling? Like, I don't understand. However, Davey takes an enziguri, and he takes a forward flip bump off of it. What? I honestly, like, I really saw the chain wrestling, and I was like, okay, Davey Boy's, like, out of his mind. That's cool that he can do that. Then he, like, did the cartwheel out. I'm like, okay, cool. Then he did the military press. I'm like, all right, fuck's sake, I don't know what's going on. Then he did this, and I'm just like,
it's like, damn, okay.
He must love Kobashi / Misawa to, like, I mean, granted, rightfully so, but he must love one of them or both of them to death, because it was just like, I'm putting you guys over as best I can, even though we're, you know, as far as who's going over, you know.
It has to be Kenta, because remember, they had a dog shit match with Tiger Mask in it, you know, with Misawa.
I really feel like Baba must have put in the word after that. Like, these are my boys. These are my big boys, and they're going. These are my guys that are the next stars down the line. So you got to do this now. I think that must have been what happened.
And also, I mean, you're still winning.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
You know.
So make them look good. Yeah. So, right, he does the flip bump. Kobashi gives Davey his own crucifix pin, which I thought was cool, because Davey does the crucifix. He does the flip around, pull over. And then Dynamite just plants him in the back with a kick. This fucking ow. Like, what a fucking flying shoulder tackle by Kobashi for 2. This dude just, he Irish whips, he goes off the ropes, he flies into the air. Tiger Mask.
Yeah, he does that frog splash shoulder tackle again.
Well, that's fun too, because I have Tiger Mask does the second rope 5-star frog splash.
Yep.
Which was fun. I have Kobashi selling for Dynamite is incredible, and also possibly not selling.
Yeah.
He's probably just like, fucking ow, stop. Please.
Because Dynamite looks like he's just throwing death bombs.
Yeah.
Like,
which I know he already has a reputation for being stiff as fuck. Like, I'm positive he probably is just throwing shit at people.
Yeah. Could you imagine, I wonder if the match exists, but like the other really stiff tag team right about this time is the Steiners.
Yes.
Can you imagine
like
this
Rick.
version of the British Bulldogs versus the Steiners?
It might have happened at some point.
Be a fucking potato farm, baby.
I feel like Davey's not as bad. And probably, Rick might not be as bad. I know Scott is stiff. Well, it depends. It depends.
The Steiner line. The Steiner line.
That's the one that sucks. Yeah. It's not so much like the strikes. Whereas Davey, I feel like everything with Dynamite is stiff. Like, just punches, and he does fucking stiff headbutts, for Christ's sake, which is like, ow, don't do that. Misawa does the Bryan Danielson missile drop kick into Kip up off the top rope. Bryan Danielson must, I mean, I'm sure this isn't much conjecture, but he must really love Misawa a lot, because the kicks, the missile drop kick, it's like all the same. Davey Boy gets in power slam position and he tags Dynamite, and I immediately fear the worst. I'm like, no, don't. I know the finish is coming, but Misawa saves the day with a drop kick.
Yeah.
And Kobashi plants Dynamite with the second rope superplex for 2. No. I mean, I literally have my notes. No. Then Misawa drop kicks again, and Kobashi gets the bridging German for 2. No. I'm really like losing my mind at this point, because I'm like, no, don't let these fuckers win. And the crowd really bought it too. They were like, oh shit, they might win. And then I have, oh no, another power slam. Oh no, he got the headbutt. Misawa can't comment at all. Oh no, boo, the match ends. You know how Misawa like looks? He's like, I'm gonna try to come. The Davey Boy just goes, no. And he's like, all right, I'm not gonna come in the ring. All right.
Yeah, and that was another thing. Like, Tiger just kind of lets it happen. Like, Davey Boy wasn't quick enough to like get in and truly cut him off, but yeah, it was just like that was the only thing that detracted from the match. Was I don't mind that it happened like that, but if it had been a little crisper, then I'd have been like, oh, okay. But yeah, like, Davey Boy immediately after he power slammed him should have like ran over and blasted Tiger Mask off the apron.
Yes.
And then, like, what a good match.
Yeah, I have okay, so it's the same annoying ending with a slight twist. Because to me, the ending is kind of annoying. Like, I hate the fact that it's a double T move and the other guy just sits on the outside instead of, like... They did have the sequence where he broke it up the first time, but Tiger Mask was still waiting on the outside at the end, so I was like, just fucking get in and break their stupid thing up. Like, you know what they do.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I said it's same annoying ending with a slight twist, but overall, match was very, very, very good. It might be the second best Davey Boy match I've ever seen. Like, really thinking on it, I'd have a hard time picking a better second. I mean, the first one's obviously Brett, but
yeah, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I don't remember anything.
I'm fucked, Brett. And
fucked.
Kobashi is obviously on another level. Misawa's great, but I hadn't, I love Kobashi, and I just hadn't seen Kobashi at this point. He's just such a good babyface, babyface fire is crazy, yeah.
And imagine being Misawa right now. You've been Tiger Mask for 5 or 6 years at this point, and that's supposed to be a guaranteed thing to get you over.
Mm-hmm.
And you're working your ass off. You're doing the Tiger Mask style, which I've been doing a little bit of cheating. I hate to admit this to you, but I've been watching Japanese wrestling without you.
How dare you? You're not watching this. Well, how far ahead are you?
I'm not watching ahead. I'm watching back.
Oh, that's fine. That doesn't matter. Because we're never watching that stuff. Unless it's Giant Baba retrospectives. Sure.
Well, I'm watching original Tiger Mask stuff. And
we did see that Baba mask with that was Mil Mascaras. Sorry, I'm getting them fucked up. But I heard Tiger Mask, the original Tiger Mask, is fucking incredible.
Insanity.
Yeah.
He is high flying in a way that Ricochet is high flying.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
In the 80s, which is nuts. Yeah, nobody was doing that.
And so Misawa is sitting there at this time, with a gimmick that's supposed to be getting him over, but he has to do Tiger Mask moves, which he's not super comfortable doing all of the high flying stuff.
Right.
Everything that I've seen him do, he does some of the flying headbutts and everything, but you can tell he's not confident.
And he does the frog splash, but it's that's not really his wheelhouse. He can do it. It's great, but he should. You know what? I feel like it's kind of like Owen. Owen could do the high flying stuff, but it wasn't really what I felt like Owen should have been doing. Even when Owen wrestled by himself, Owen is a great mat wrestler. He does really good, interesting in the ring stuff, and the top rope stuff he can do, but I don't feel like it's necessarily what he should or wants to be doing. It's very similar.
So here's Misawa doing a move set that he's not truly comfortable in doing and doesn't want to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a gimmick that he doesn't quite want to be doing because it's not paying dividends. And then you're sitting there hearing the cheers and adulation for Kenta Kobashi next to you, who is getting to be himself, making it on his own. I can absolutely see where Misawa sometimes just straight up gives up.
Well, you can tell just from the show, just in the storyline, in the kayfabe storyline of what's happening, that the gimmick is weighing him down. It is making him second banana in all of these matches when he's capable of more than that. So, and that's just in story. If that's the real case too, it's kind of it's playing out in the story of the matches. So yeah, and we know where it's going, so that's good. Generally, we know Misawa is not going to be Tiger Mask 2 for another 10 years. So
he is rapidly approaching a transformation.
Yeah, but I thought this match was very, very good with a few very, very small caveats. I gave it 4.25 out of 5. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you like Davey Boy, because I really that this was a showcase for him, and that's saying something. He's in the ring with Kobashi and Misawa, and he's making them look good, which is dude, great fucking job. Because
usually Davey Boy is there to make himself look good and nothing else, and in being selfish like that, it makes no one look good.
Totally.
And so for him and Dynamite to actually give a showcase to them, amazing. This is, for me, the best British Bulldogs match I've ever seen.
Yeah. For me too.
and Davey Boy's second best match ever.
Mhm.
So, four finger raisers for me.
like raising your fingers, like yes, that type of...
Yes.
Oh, that's weird.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you imagine the whole crowd doing that? Just
no.
Daniel Bryan comes out in the kicks.
They just do the Pan's Labyrinth dinner demon thing with the fucking eyes in the middle. No. But it was great match. Good on Davey Boy. I actually feel like Dynamite was the odd man out, which go figure.
He was the odd man out, but at the same time,
he wasn't bad.
He didn't distract from the match because
he did that last time. Like he distracted last time, and he didn't this time.
He was there to kill and kick ass, and he, didn't quite succeed in the first one, but he did very well in the ass kicking department.
Yeah. So our final match, there's a 3-match show. Genichiro Tenryu and Toshiaki Kawada versus Jumbo Tsuruta and Isao Takagi. I think I said that right. Isao, yeah.
Yep.
So we immediately get a flashback to the Koloff match, which we watched on the show, where Tenryu was blindsided by Takagi before the match. And I'd have to go back, but I believe I did call it right that it was Takagi, because I looked it up and they said Takagi. I hope I got it right. If I got it wrong, that makes me look really stupid. Man. So we get Jumbo and Takagi's entrance. Takagi's in the AJPW red jacket, while Jumbo is repping the Olympics. he has a The Olympics jacket. Tenryu enters to what I have as badass evil spy music.
万葉の昔から歌に詠まれました雪の千曲川、この川の四季の移り変わりはそのまま上田の風物詩であります。そしてまた歴史の流れ、さあ春も夏も秋も冬も雪の日も雨の日も全身全霊のファイト天竜であります。天竜の入場。
It's like something like that. It's fucking amazing. Because he's a crime overlord. I'm telling you, this is Tenryu's character. I know his character is that he's a himbo who likes denim in real life, but I feel like they can coexist, those gimmicks, because he's like a guy in The Outsiders, like a Soch or whatever, like like he's a dumb greaser who likes denim and doesn't know anything, like that kind of thing.
Oh my god. I just love that, his stable Revolution, because they are called Revolution.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. His stable Revolution, famously non-political, understanding Genichiro Tenryu comes out. His music starts with bombs and gunfire. And there's just Himbo Tenryu just, this sounds great. This sounds so cool. I don't know what's going on outside of my backyard.
Genichiro Tenryu is totally a guy that would watch Fight Club and think like Brad Pitt is so cool and he's the coolest man. He's that kind of guy. He watches Joker and thinks Joker's the hero. He's that guy.
Oh my god.
He's a dumb man.
Watching Scarface and being like,
oh yeah,
Tony Montana really has it figured out.
I know Tenryu loves Scarface like 100. He's got a Scarface poster up in his room. The world is yours, Genichiro Tenryu.
He's got a Scarface poster right next to a Che Guevara and he doesn't know his name.
Exactly. So so what do I have here? Oh, yeah, he's a crime overlord. This is just what I've surmised from the matches, because I can't understand anything the commentators say. The impression I get is Genichiro Tenryu is a crime overlord, and Kawada is his lackey, like his big, tough lackey. And immediately, Tenryu's in the ring, and Tenryu, looks like he just does not give a shit. He's just like, it's not like, okay, I shouldn't say that. He is not threatened.
This match.
Yeah, he is not threatened by either of these two men. He's gonna just kill people easily and dispatch them without any trouble. And then they go over to Kawada, and Kawada looks like a badass, just in his stature but the expression he gives is like sheepish, like, oh, I guess I could maybe beat people up for my boss. I don't know, maybe like Kawada, and I'm like, I just love how visually they get this over, that this dude is just a lackey. He is not in charge. Tenryu is in charge, and whatever Tenryu says to do, he's gonna do, which is probably kill the other guys. And then Tenryu kind of like points at Takagi, because really, if you think about it, Takagi started the feud. He beat up Tenryu before the Koloff match, and he points at him like, I want him first. I want to face him. And Tsuruta is like, fuck you, like, we'll do whatever we want to do. And then they kind of all make the decision that Takagi could go first. Like, it's the in-ring psychology and storytelling without any words. Like, I can just tell what's going on.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like, it's so old school and good. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe it was just the grainy footage, but to me, it looked like Tenryu was like 10 years older, while Jumbo Tsuruta looked like 10 years younger. Like,
then,
are they swapping life forces
than
or
each
something?
other, or just from last time?
Just from last time. Like,
see, I have it the reverse. Well, I have that. I think Tenryu looks maybe 5 years older. He does look older. But I have Tsuruta looks like 10 years older than he did last. Tsuruta specifically, now listen, in-ring, great. I love the way he works. Don't have any problems with it at all. I think, and the dude can go, but I kind of get like a Jericho impression where it's like, he's not really in shape, in my opinion. Like just appearance-wise. Like, he's kind of muffin topping over the trunks. His chest is not in, he's not like cut at all. He doesn't need to be, just like Jericho. No. Jericho doesn't need to be cut, and he doesn't need to weigh 180 pounds. Like, he's fine. But, like, that's the impression I immediately got, was like Tsuruta, and he kind of is droopier in the face. I was like, Tsuruta looks older to me and less in shape.
God,
but
Tsuruta looked younger to me, and like Tenryu,
maybe the hair.
Tenryu has constantly had like this boyish baby face the entire time.
He looked older to me, yeah.
And then like here, he looks like 10 years older.
Yes.
And grizzled.
He did look more grizzled in this. Yeah, I agree with that. But Tsuruta looked, it wasn't that he looked like grizzled, he just looked more out of shape to me. But that's not like, it didn't really matter at the end of the day, you know. So,
but, I mean, Jumbo looks like he's ready to kill.
Yes, I don't want it to sound bad on Jumbo, because Jumbo, this dude has worked his ass off every show, including this show. He is very good for his age and everything with the guys he's working with. He's over. Like, I really get the Jericho impression. Like, he was a dude that was really big, and he's still working because he wants to, and he's putting over these other guys and still doing his damn job every week, being an over guy. He's not faded at all. So they decide Takagi's going to get in. Takagi immediately... Yeah.
Takagi kind of makes the decision and then just immediately rushes Tenryu.
Yeah, which again is kind of in the storytelling. He's like, maybe if I just overwhelm him immediately, then, I have a chance of it. Like, I get the sense, I mean, it plays out in the match, but I got the sense Takagi is kind of the Kawada to Tsuruta. He's not a lackey, but he's like the lower rung. So he's like, yeah, he has way less of a chance against Tenryu than Jumbo does. So I felt like it was kind of like, no, I'll get in and prove myself. And then it was kind of a desperation, like, fuck it, I'll throw everything at him right now. That's the only chance I have. is to just rush at him and fucking kill him immediately. So he and to his credit, he almost did it. He ran at Tenryu, fucking charged him, Irish whipped him at Mach speed and got this big shoulder charge. And I was like, okay. And then Tenryu immediately starts working over with kicks, and Kawada tags in for a heel kick into a senton. And I'm like, oh man, you fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
You fucked up. Takagi works Kawada for a bit before Jumbo gets in, and Tenryu just barges in and tee off on him with strikes. Now, here's where Tenryu is not legal. He just gets in. He's like, "Fuck you, Jumbo. I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you." And the ref is like, "You're not legal, buddy." Like, and he's not. And Tenryu isn't like, "I'm gonna get a strike in and then leave." He's just like, "I'm gonna beat your ass." And then the ref's like, "No, no, 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 no." And Jumbo just almost kicks this fucking ref. The ref is just
like the ref took his life into his own hands and nearly got killed by both.
That's what I have, is that he nearly died. It was like, this poor ref. Then Kawada hits the X-Pac spinning heel kick number 3 into the corner.
Yep.
It just kept happening. Okay.
Well, every show there has been a brand
move.
new transition move.
Yeah.
And the spinning heel kick for this one was the transition move. Like, we've seen it be the butterfly slam suplex.
Yeah.
We've even seen the transition move being the pile driver.
Yes.
This week, though, it is the X-Pac spinning heel kick.
Yeah. Wow. So Tenryu gets in.
God, if you think about it, X-Pac is like the Waluigi of wrestling.
Well, no, because he does the spinning and he goes, wah, and he puts his hands around. Like he does the karate. It's fucking X-Pac. So Genichiro Tenryu gives Jumbo Tsuruta the power bomb. Again, Tenryu gives Jumbo the power bomb. I was like, excuse me, that man is very, very big. And it was pretty close to the macho power bomb in the sense that my boy did not get up at all.
It was a very short fall for the power bomb.
Well, you know, I guess that's kind of better, but it's kind of worse in the long run.
Well, it makes sense just because, I mean, Jumbo, like, jumps the fuck up in, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, okay, that was the thing, though, because I thought the Tenryu powerbomb was, like, the finisher, because that's what he beat Macho with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he somehow kicks out.
And,
you know.
And the crowd pops, yeah.
I thought it was over, and I was like, what? But no, Jumbo kicks out. And then Kawada gets in for another X-Pac spinning heel kick. Number 4.
Master of the spinning heel kick.
Yeah.
Look at this fella. Look at him go.
Tenryu starts beating the shit out of Takagi, and the crowd lights up. Jumbo finally pops in to get rid of him, and Tenryu just goes outside and starts throwing tables and chairs around. I was thinking it was the commentary desk, but I couldn't tell. I don't think it was.
God. It was so wild because Jumbo comes in and just knocks Tenryu outside, and you can't, the way the camera is, you can't see where Tenryu is, and all of a sudden you see like
a table,
2 chairs fly up into the air, and then a table gets thrown up.
It's like a car crash happened outside the ring and it's not focused on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot see what Tenryu is doing, and it looks amazing.
It looks great, yeah. The framing of it was just like, you saw Tenryu get thrown out, the camera's on the ring action, like the regular wide shot, and then you just see like a table and a chair fly up on the outside, and you're like, oh shit. Like, oh no.
Like, oh no, what's going on?
This was an omen for things to come in the match. So Tenryu kicks Takagi in the head a lot.
Ooh.
And there's no way to make these soft. The dude's just kicking him in the head. I mean, to his credit, he's not teeing off on him in the head. It's not like he's giving him Randy Orton punts or something, but he is like, he is just kicking him in the head.
Yeah, I would not want to take
no.
those. Holy shit.
Kawada plants him with a pile driver for 2. Jumbo gets in, gives Kawada the running knee, and body slams him. He gets him up for the body slam, and while he's doing it, he's looking at Tenryu in the corner. Like, yeah. I'm about to body slam your boy. And then he body slams him right in front of him. Like, he's making a big example out of it. He's just like, fucker. Like, it was perfect.
Yeah, and Tenryu is straight up, like, holds his hands up, and he's like, I ain't tagging in.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care.
And he starts, like, looking off. He's just like, I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
The simplest stuff, too, yeah.
What was really great was, Kawada gets up and kicks Jumbo and does a back body drop to him. But Jumbo let it happen because immediately Kawada tags Tenryu in and Jumbo jumps up from it. He let that happen to get Tenryu in the ring.
Yeah. Yep. And I have Kawada gets Tenryu in, and Jumbo and Tenryu simply cannot coexist. Can they coexist? No. Literally every time Jumbo and Tenryu are within 5 feet of each other, they have
just
to kill
like
each other.
Magnets. Magnets.
They just want to murder each other at all costs. Even if they're across the ring, sometimes one of them will just get in the ring like, I'm going to kill that fucker. I'm going to go kill him. Which is kind of, if you think about it, it's a little weird. I think in the bigger scheme it makes sense, but really, like, I think in a simpler story, the case would be that Tenryu would want to kill Takagi, because Takagi is the guy who started all this shit. But I think because of this weird mafia overlord or young boy, because of all this business, Tenryu holds Jumbo personally responsible for his underling's behavior, so he just wants to kill. He doesn't give a shit about. He could kill that little guy, but he doesn't give a shit. He's holding him responsible. So yeah, I have. Can they coexist? No, they cannot. It's a big thing now. Yeah.
I just thought it was a really interesting thing of like, I will allow myself to get hurt in order to lure him in the ring, because they have teed off on each other and they've had like little spurts of action, but for the most part, Tenryu has been hitting Jumbo and then getting out.
Yes.
Hitting Jumbo and getting out.
He's a shithead. Yeah, that's what he does. He's evil. It's not even like he's a cowardly heel. He's a backhanded fucker, like he'll do whatever he has to.
Yeah, he's disrespecting Jumbo because he's not giving Jumbo the straight up fight that he wants.
Yes.
That like honor would dictate.
But he's not doing it because he's a coward. He's doing it to goad him. He's like, I'll do whatever the fuck I have to do. I don't give a shit. Yeah. It's that evil kind of thing.
And the thing is that's very interesting is like, this is like the 3rd or 4th like tag team encounter we've seen with Tenryu and Jumbo. And I'm still frothing at the mouth for a one-on-one.
Yes, definitely. I feel like they're building to it. I know they're building to other things as well, but we'll get there. So at this point, Jumbo and Tenryu get in the ring, and Jumbo goes to give him the boot off the ropes, and Tenryu grabs his fucking boot and pulls him back into the ropes, which I thought was awesome. I was like, I wish people would do that spot. Jumbo grabs Tenryu as he goes up top, and he tries to plant him. But Tenryu cradles him. This spot looked wonky as fuck. I think they weren't on the same page. I thought he was.
No.
Oh, okay.
To me, this looked. So I mean, we all know the spot where someone will go up to the top rope and then the other person cuts them off and throws
them. Yeah.
And like they were doing a version of that spot, but Tenryu tucked through and delivered the small package, which I thought it looked crisp as hell.
The small package looked good. It was the actual Jumbo going to give him the throw that looked wonky to me. It was like, it just looked like it wouldn't have worked. Whatever he was trying to do wouldn't have worked anyway, in the sense that, well, I mean, it would have probably killed Tenryu, but not in the way that, like, looks good in wrestling. Like, he would have fallen on the back of his head or something, and it would have looked like shit. Because he would have dropped him as opposed to thrown him onto his back, you know. But, yeah, Tenryu's, like, cradle was good, and the crowd bit on it really hard.
Oh, yeah.
Takagi gets in against Kawada for the X-Pac spinning heel kick number 5.
I have bad news for you. Like, ooh, those spinning heel kicks are a staple.
Yes. I don't hate them, but they're fine. I don't even really mind it when X-Pac does it. It's just when he does it 800 times in a match.
Yeah.
So here is where one of Takagi / Jumbo's boys in the red jackets, there's all these boys in red jackets on the side, gets near or on the apron while Tenryu is working over Takagi in the corner. And Tenryu just starts
those brutal head kicks.
Yeah, Tenryu just starts teeing off on this guy on the outside from the ring. I don't know if he was on the apron or not, because again, the camera, I would say a good job, but I don't know if it was intentional. The camera does a very good job of, like, not focusing on all the crazy fucking shit Tenryu is doing and just having it play out as chaos that's barely on the screen. Because he just starts kicking this dude and you can't even see the dude. You see somebody fall off the apron. You're like, oh shit. And then they cut to, like, there's a guy on the fucking floor. Like, he just beat the shit out of that dude. Let's see. Yeah, I have don't fuck around. Don't fuck around with Tenryu. Like, just don't mess with that dude. I would not have jumped on the apron. Kawada tries to pull Takagi up for a powerbomb, but Takagi doesn't sit up and falls backwards. This had to have been a botch.
Yeah. That was a super botch. But because Takagi, like, pulled himself out of position. Remember how we were talking last time?
Yep.
About, you know, if you're going up for, because I think they were going for a pile driver.
Oh, yeah, it looked like it could have been, yeah.
Yeah, and he pulled himself out of position and didn't post on his knees, and Kawada,
just
all
put him
the
down.
Respect in the world, just threw him down.
Yeah,
So,
because
like,
if he tried to pile drive him, it could have been a disaster. Like, it would have been so bad, and there was no way he was gotching him into a power bomb. That was my problem. Was he's so big. I was like, that dude's huge. Like, so yeah, it looked bad, but yes, Kawada, and also, like, if I remember correctly, I think Misawa was in the last Tenryu fight, the tag, and he fucked up a spot, and then Tenryu just lit him up. Like, it was like, oh, you're eating receipts for fucking days because you fucked up a spot. And to Kawada's credit, like, because I feel like Takagi fucked this up, but Kawada didn't, like, make him pay for it. It was just like, okay, let's move on. So, I know Takagi's the guy. Takagi is, like, the guy who set up this match. But I feel like he is definitely the odd man out. Like, in terms of work. Like, he's not on the level of the three other guys. He's not bad, but he's just a guy.
Well, the thing is, I think they make up for that.
Yeah.
He makes up for it because it's been a wild and crazy affair the entire time, but we get, like, a good 2 or 3 minutes of them trying to kill Takagi.
Yes.
And we actually get a hot tag buildup for Jumbo Tsuruta.
Yeah, the babyface in peril thing happens. I'm pretty sure he was busted open hard way from kicks to the head. Like, because he had, like, something on his forehead, and I was like, dude, like, stop teeing off on that dude's head.
It was where the laces and the grommets just made marks. It was horrible.
Yeah. Tenryu tags Kawada in. He goes outside to tee off on the red jackets with a chair. One of them, okay, he gets one of them with the chair. Then another one grabs Tenryu and like he locks his arms behind him, and one of them starts getting in strikes on Tenryu. And I don't know who it is, but I started researching. I think it might actually be Yatsu again. I think Yoshiaki Yatsu. The first match. Yeah. And the only reason I think so is because it looks like he has like the goatee and the slick back hair. It's not slick back, but the longer and Yoshiaki Yatsu later on is in Tsuruta-gun, which is a staple with Jumbo. So I feel like whatever this is, I don't know what staple it is. I feel like it's just baby faces who like Jumbo. And All Japan, you know, like they're the counter revolutionaries. But it looked like him, so I think it might have been Yatsu, even though he had a match earlier.
I mean, regardless of whoever it was, he fucking teed off on Tenryu.
Yeah.
He punches the dog shit out of him.
You could tell it was a big deal, too, because the announcer the commentator started going nuts, and the crowd started going nuts. Meanwhile, in the ring, Kawada actually gets Takagi up in ring for the powerbomb, but Jumbo is free to make the save, and the crowd just goes absolutely ape shit. Jumbo has just this whole sequence of counters with Kawada into the big boot and the backdrop for the pin. It was like, and Tenryu couldn't make the save because he fucked up and he went outside. He got greedy and he didn't care anyway about Kawada, to be honest. That was the other thing. I don't even think he would have made the save. Well, he probably would have made the save to kill Jumbo and Takagi, like to prolong the match. But the win wasn't, I don't think the win was his concern. So, yeah, crowd goes apeshit for all that. Let's see.
Cuts to Tenryu, who is like
busted
open.
And I have that he looks not just busted open, but as if it's like multiple cuts. Like, I think he got color and just the blood got in random spots all over his fucking upper body. So it looks like he's just fucking cut up all over the place. That's what I hope happened.
Because it added a lot, because it just cuts back to him after, you know, he's taken these vicious hits on the outside from everyone ganging up and beating him up, and he looks like he has been in a street fight.
Yeah,
like he loses his shit and starts chucking a table at a dude.
Yeah, that's what I have, is he throws a real table at it's because it's not those fake gimmick tables. He just throws one of the fucking tables at all of the Red Jackets. Jumbo comes out to fuck him up more as the bell goes off over and over and over. But they get split up pretty quick. Great match, excellent build-in psychology. It's kind of unfortunate Takagi was the catalyst, in my opinion, just because, I mean, it's fine, but, like, I feel like if there was one more, like, if Misawa was in this, I mean, well, they already did that. I'm trying to think. If it was somebody else, then it would have had a little more to it. I mean, he wasn't bad. He just, like, work-wise. He got the heat on him very well, but work-wise,
yeah,
you know.
I think that Takagi was actually very smart. And, you know, like, as we've seen, like, you know, building up to hot tags is not the Japanese professional wrestlers' forte.
Correct. Yeah.
And for Takagi to realize, like, where his place was and to build that hot tag to Jumbo, because when Jumbo came in that last time, like, there was Tenryu on the outside, you know, with that insanity. Jumbo comes in and just a flurry of devastating moves, and the crowd is losing their mind. And, like, I feel it was well worth it, and Jumbo knew it too, because, like, whenever they're, you know, in the ring, like, you know, accepting the referee raising their hand, like, Jumbo is constantly pointing to Takagi, and it's like, this guy, like, check him out, you know, and, like, it seems like there is a camaraderie, at least as far as, like, a professional level goes, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I have the outside of that, Jumbo and Tenryu are just electric. They have like really good chemistry.
Oh my god.
Kawada's a great muscle. The shenanigans were awesome. So yeah, I have 4.25 out of 5 again. So 2 4.25 out of 5 matches on this show, which is very, very good.
Yeah, this is straight up like it was very good. It was exciting, like very few rest holds, weird stuff going on the outside. It really created just this chaotic atmosphere where like you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And like I can see like tuning in every week at this point, like after it's had time to like build a little bit. I'm looking at the things that, you know, we've watched from the last like 4 or 5 episodes, and it's like, okay, things are starting to pay off and really shape up. And like, imagine being, you know, there on your Saturday morning, you turn this on, and you just see like Tenryu get thrown outside, and all of a sudden an explosion of furniture goes flying. I'd be like, oh, damn, I gotta watch this.
Yeah, and I can't say enough good things about the storytelling with the guys in there. Like, that's such a, like, I know people talk about, like, I think psychology is maybe an overused word in wrestling because that can mean a lot of things. Storytelling, though, is, like, especially for me, if you do a lot of storytelling with very little, like, like if you're not having to do a fucking, I don't know, power bombs and shooting star presses to tell a story. It, like, not even moves. If you can just tell stories with looks and mannerisms and very, very small things, I find that to be, you know, like top level wrestling stuff.
Yeah, just extremely compelling.
Yeah, it's just entertaining. Like literally, this match just started, and I had to like. They showed the little tiny package, and I had to be like, okay, what? That was the Koloff show, and he hit him before the match. Okay, on its own, that's not a big deal, in my opinion. That's just kind of like, yeah, here's why these guys want to fight, which is like, all right. It's what they do after that. Like, once it's like, okay, like Tenryu really gets this thing over, like, this is my character. These are these guys' characters, and how I play against those characters. Like, that is just such an important thing. And like I think in the 90s, in the late 90s with Car Crash TV and the Attitude Era and stuff, they talk about the soap opera stuff. People got the impression that like for characters to be a thing, you need like backstage segments and goofy and 20-minute promos and goofy double crosses and swerves and da-da-da, when really, like, all you need is, like, a minute in the ring. That's all you need. As long as the guys know what they're doing. You don't need overwritten scripts and stuff, you know?
Yeah, because, I mean, that's one thing about the Attitude Era that people, like, kind of just lionize. Is, you know, they're like, oh, there were so many stories going on, and like while the Attitude Era like did a lot to have mid-card people like in feuds that meant something, you know, that like there were stakes and everything like that, or at least like rivalries, it did great. But if you actually dig down into the stories, like, holy shit, some of those stories were goddamn awful. Like, I forget who it was, but the Godfather like feuded with one person because he refused to take his hose.
That probably like, happened multiple times. Yeah,
my hoes are the finest people, or the finest women on earth. How dare you insult my hoes that I'm constantly
probably like Val Venus
degrading.
Or something, or probably somebody more prudish than that. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't Val Venus, because Val Venus did take like. The one time it worked, it was, you know, where the Godfather like said, hey, you can take these hoes and I can win the match. And the one time it worked was Val Venus.
Well, the thing was, though, is like I agree with you. I think a lot of people, that's why like a lot of people back then thought Vince Russo was so great. And there's still people out there who's like, Vince Russo did the highest rated segment, and it's like, fuck off. Like, that stuff.
That was all Mick and The Rock. Shut the fuck up.
But even then, like, that stuff, it had, you know, its limited shelf life and value. But the thing is like, Mick Foley fucking goes in the ring and tells stories wrestling. Like, you watch like a street fight, his street fight with Triple H, it's not like, that didn't need any segments at all. It had good segments, but it didn't need them because the crazy shit that you remember the story being happened in the ring. Like, and a lot of The Rock's greatest moments happen in the fucking ring when they told the stories in the ring. You don't need like, and Russo hated that shit. He doesn't like the wrestling portion. If he had his way, the show would have like no wrestling. It would just be angles and scripts and swerves and shit, which, like, you know, it's already been proven in WCW how much that shit gets over with the fans, which is not. Like, fans just tune out because they want to watch people wrestle. So yeah, I like the show a lot. Did you already rate the match?
I can't remember, but I'll just say it again. Yeah, I mean, this was 4 out of
4 out of 5 razors.
Finger razors.
Razor Ramones. Yes.
Hey, Chico, watch it.
Hey, yo. It was, yeah, very good show. I mean, the first match wasn't anything special, but luckily it was really short.
It was really short. It was
and
short
it was all
and
right.
sweet. And
yeah.
I'm sorry, like, a competent match that is short and sweet and like kind of gets the point across, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine.
It's like Big Show and QT Marshall.
That match was the perfect length for that rivalry. Absolutely perfect for that rivalry.
I heard talk recently that QT Marshall has go away heat. I have no idea where this stems from because I think he's fine.
I think he's fine as well, but I do think that he kind of, you know, with the exception of Punk, he kind of drains momentum from whoever he faces.
I can see that and understand it. I don't disagree with it, but also, like, I reserve go away heat for like shitty gimmicks or like unbelievably horrid wrestling. Like,
yeah, like Enzo Amore. That's go away heat.
Nowadays, yes. But like, what I mean is like I think QT he's all right on the mic and he's pretty good in the ring. It's just his character isn't over. But like, that doesn't, I mean, it's not technically good for people's programs, but I don't think of it as like, oh, QT Marshall is on the channel, I'm going to change it. Like, me personally, but I guess some people do feel it. I just find that weird.
I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, he just is kind of a blank spot because while his wrestling is good and he sells very well and he can do a lot of different styles of wrestling, like, I mean, look at whenever he was feuding with Cody, like, you can trace everyone getting mad at Cody back to him with QT.
Well, so what you're saying is QT Marshall is responsible for the greatest wrestling experiment of our generation.
the Grand Funk Railroad concept.
The Great
album.
Becoming started with QT Marshall.
It was me, Cody.
The Grand Instrumentality, the Great Instrumentality Project, yeah. No. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, just to cap it off, like, you know, he feuded with Cody. No one was into it, despite everything they were doing. I mean, Cody beat QT on top of a, like, monster truck or semi-trailer or whatever. And everyone was just kind of like, yeah, Cody, I guess this is...
I think I just don't have the history of QT. Like, the only programs I've seen QT have were like, did he have a match against Punk?
Yeah.
He had a Punk match. He had the program against Big Show, and I think he had a program before that with who was the guy that Cody beat that wasn't him? His fighter buddy from Britain. I thought that dude was cool.
Yeah, Anthony Ogogo.
Yeah, so I was fine with that. But like, so I haven't seen him suck.
The Anthony Ogogo thing was fine.
Yeah.
And the match was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Anthony Ogogo, got injured. He was injured before he went in.
I think I just didn't see the QT stuff before that set all that up. Yeah.
Yeah, but the main problem is with the Anthony Ogogo thing, that's whenever we got the promo from Cody.
Yeah, that sucked. And Ogogo should have won.
Yeah.
But, Cody. Anyway, this show was good.
That is the grand experiment. the new weekly segment. What's Cody doing?
Yeah. Well, the actual weekly segment is who is your Wing Pegasus of the week. I nominate X-Pac.
Okay.
Not really. It's a joke.
Like X-Pac has dumb takes every now and again, but for the most part, X-Pac is a fine wrestling pundit.
I actually like X-Pac in the ring for the most part. Yeah. It's just his character. It's kind of like Cena. Like, I actually don't. Well, Cena was off and on for a while, but like by the time I was watching Cena in like 2014 or whatever, I actually liked his in-ring work a lot. It's just his character was stale as fuck. And it's the same with X-Pac. Like, X-Pac, I used to love his in-ring work. Mm-hmm. I thought he had like really great matches most of the time. It's just his character sucked ass. Like, nobody wants to watch it.
For the longest time, he was in the measuring stick portion of WWE.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think what made people realize they didn't want to see X-Pac anymore was whenever he turned on Kane for like the third or fourth time.
Yeah, they feuded for like a year. Like, it was endless. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you remember one of the culminating moments where Terry was involved?
Yeah. I think I remember this.
Yeah,
was it Terry or Tori?
It was.
I thought Ninja Tori was involved in all that nonsense.
Was it?
Terry Runnels was always like, she was involved with Goldust and.
That was not her, so I guess it was.
It was Tori. I think Tori was with X-Pac or whatever. I don't remember, but yes, I think so.
So what it was Tori was with Kane. Because they had a monster Frankenstein's bride thing.
This is when I was watching the show. Yeah.
Which, if you remember, it was super over.
It was over.
People loved it. And so X-Pac turned on Kane around Christmas time, and they had a match where the stipulation was if X-Pac won, then Tori had to spend the Christmas break 9 days at X-Pac's house.
I wonder if Vince Russo wrote that. I wonder.
Oh, gee, I wonder.
Well, Vince was also like, that's a great idea, pal. That definitely happened.
Yeah. And so X-Pac won. And so Tori had to go to his house for Christmas, and can you imagine how fucking terrible that would be?
You think it's better than Kane's house, though?
At least Kane would pull out a wilted flower and be like, Tori, I love you.
See, that's the problem.
Sweet.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. Is I don't think the house itself is the problem. I think it's more that X-Pac's in the house. X-Pac's character is in the house constantly. And just constantly bothering you with doing heel kicks through every door,
That's how he opens the door.
Yeah.
And every morning
he wakes you up with crotch chops. Just wake up.
Yeah, he's like, make some noise.
God damn it. His theme's just constantly playing on loop. all the time.
Yeah, and he's just like, make some noise.
That was my problem. See, that was my problem with X-Pac, was that, like, it's the same problem I had with Roman Reigns. Well, the initial problem, because that got way worse. But the problem was, when the Shield broke up, Roman's still coming out to the Shield music with the fucking Shield outfit for, like, 2 years. It's like, dude, get a life. Like, get your own gimmick. Like, Shield's over. You're not in it anymore. And you're not the Shield. You're Roman Reigns. Like, get a fucking clue. And then, X-Pac's coming out to, like, DX's music 3 years after DX has been around. It's like, dude, come on. It's over. They're not around anymore. Even see, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg could get away with it because it was like,
they always had their own
they had their shtick, yeah. They carved out their own thing. X-Pac never really did. He was just the other DX guy, which is like, don't be the other DX guy for 3 years. You have to get the I have everything I ever wanted, that horrible thing, the fucking Uncle Kracker song.
God, that was Xbox theme?
That was what was the name of the fucking? It was him and Tensai.
And Just Incredible X Factor.
Yes, X Factor. You deal with the X Factor.
Yeah, you deal with the X Factor.
I hate that fucking. Yeah, that was but then that's not DX. Like, I hate the song, but at least it's not DX. So,
yeah.
Who's your winged Pegasus though?
God. Let's see.
I just picked X-Pac because of the spinning heel kicks. There were so many.
There were so many. But no, God, I'm trying to think. There is someone in wrestling this week who's a real fucking asshole. God, I cannot remember.
I could pick this really annoying fan on Twitter. But that's boring. He's just a WWE show. He's a stand-up for WWE guy, and
what did he say?
He was saying Adam Cole is like boring now because he does comedy or whatever. And everybody immediately jumped on him like, you're such a fucking idiot. He would have been managing Keith Lee, and they would have shaved his head in WWE. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. They're like, WWE knew what to do with Adam Cole, and now they're doing comedy with him. And then everybody immediately pulled like old shows with Adam Cole where he's singing like Backstreet Boys in the ring and shit, like doing comedy from forever. It's not like, he's like an ultra serious wrestler or whatever. Anyway, that's just a dude. It's just some idiot on Twitter.
Yeah,
like,
it's just some dude.
Who cares?
Like, I hate it whenever wrestling fans, quote unquote, because they're not actually fans.
Yeah,
they're
no.
Just shitty people who like happen to watch wrestling.
Yes.
Because they don't understand it.
Well, they have wrestling on while they look at their iPad. Yeah.
Yeah.
They look at their Nintendo Switch. And it's on in the background.
And they get very angry whenever they're super serious wrestling like gets interrupted with comedy. And it's like, fuck off. Steve Austin sat in the goddamn ring and literally with a out-of-tune guitar played Kumbaya fucking Ya.
Yeah.
Like, come on. That was great shit. It was funny as fuck.
They did that Margaritaville segment, and they can't even replay it anymore because Jimmy Buffett came for them, I guess.
That was a great segment.
Yeah.
Like, it was very funny.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle, the wrestling machine, in a tiny cowboy hat.
Kurt Angle's one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion, just because of between out-of-ring and in-ring stuff. The dude...
amazing.
That is a dude I would love to have a beer with, because he is just the most entertaining person. He's impossible for him not to be entertaining.
Yeah, and so, like, people getting mad, like, another bad wrestling take that I saw this week was people are very, very, very mad about Riho winning.
They're mad?
Super mad.
I like that she won, and I like that they had a match. The only thing I'm quote-unquote mad about, which I'm not really mad, is I hate the general principle of somebody has a match against the champion, and if they beat the champion, they get to face the champion. I hate those matches. But, I mean, I don't mind it as, like, an after-the-fact consolation. Like, hey, you're going to have a match against a champion non-title. And then they have the match, and the person wins. And then later on, they're like, well, because you won, I guess it makes sense that you had a title match. I just hate it when it's a stip going in, because to me, it's like, well, just have the title match, because they won anyway. Fuck it. Like, but that's neither here nor there. I'm sure they had a good match, and Riho rules, and I don't mind her beating Britt for non-title. That's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, the story going into it is like, here's Riho, who the announcers made clear Britt Baker had, in their 4 encounters, Britt Baker has never beaten Riho.
Yeah, that's great.
And so, yeah, like, the fact that Riho still beat her, even though she is the champion, that puts Britt in peril. Like,
yes. You need a threat to her that's not Rosa at this point if you're not doing the Rosa program. And they can't do it for at least a month or so anyway, so you might as well build something.
Yeah, and that's been the big problem with Britt Baker's run. There has been no real credible contenders, like good contenders, like I
Ruby wasn't too bad, but yeah.
Yeah, Ruby wasn't too bad, but yeah, like, you knew that Britt Baker was still, like, kind of early on in her run, and Ruby just came into the company, and you know that they are not going to just hot shot the title.
True, but it wasn't bad because it was conceivable that the new big up-and-comer could do it. Chris Stat and Ty were not... Nobody bought that, I don't think. I like Chris Stat, and I like Ty, but...
Yeah. And I mean, with Ruby, they even gave them a segment, to, like, talk to each other, which super fucking helped.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah.
They had very important things to say to one another. And that was the thing with the Ty buildup, was like, Britt Baker did promos at Ty.
Yes.
Like, and then Ty didn't really
did packages that said, you don't have a butt.
Yeah.
Now, and that honestly, the Ruby thing was, I mean, they had some promos with heat, but the problem was Ruby was like, you're having sex with somebody in the back, which is like, I don't fucking care. Don't bring that shit up.
Come on. Yeah.
Who wrote this? But yes, I appreciate that they are doing angles now. Again, like we say, storytelling in the ring. They said, hey, Riho has an angle here. Let's have her get a non-title win, and then, hey, we have an angle that gives heat. And then, and also, I assume Britt is going to be Riho down the line. But that creates some tension, and then when Britt wins, that puts her over even stronger for the Rosa match. Yep. And then, who knows what happens with her? You get more heat for that as well. So, just generally, the women, like we've discussed, the women need more angles, and they have... I was so happy in the tournament that Shida lost due to Deeb, which means they have an angle outside of the tournament, and then other women inside of the tournament have their own angles inside the tournament, and then they have an angle for the title. It's like, okay, good. Fuck yes. Like, now all these women have something going on. That was the problem, is nobody had anything going on. It was just like, yeah, we're all wrestling for the belt. It's like, that's boring.
And even Chris Stat and Ruby, they've had packages because they're facing each other in the tournament.
Yep.
And they're, talking to each other like, look, I'm glad that you had my back and everything, but now it's time to fight. And that's good.
Yes. Yeah, just build these like story. Like they had Hayter turn on Baker on the same exact show. And I was like, fucking perfect. Get her out of that group. Have her do some angles. Like, have her, not necessarily heal, but like just do something different with the character. And then people can figure out what they're doing. So, yeah.
But yeah, real quick to circle back around. Yeah, people are mad that Riho won.
Right.
Because one, people are like, oh, you can't pin your champion. Which
okay.
the thing is, Kenny
got pinned.
Well, Yeah, Kenny got pinned. But while like WWE cannot do it because they have their champions lose all the fucking time,
Right.
like seriously, those people get pinned. Even Tommaso Ciampa as NXT champion has, gotten a loss.
Yeah.
As champion, like, come the fuck on.
Totally.
But like, yeah, people are mad at that, even though AEW, like, there is a storyline reason that, Britt Baker lost, and that is because, one, she underestimated Riho because she has become this big figure, and then two, she has never defeated Riho. And one thing that I appreciate is just because Britt is the champion now doesn't mean that all of a sudden, like, her stats went up through the roof. And so we have a credible, like, challenge to Britt Baker, which we have needed in Riho. And, then the other reason people are mad is because, and this is what drives me insane, people are like, it's just not believable that Tiny Riho can beat anybody.
They've been doing that forever. They always, Emi Sakura is not, why is she, like fucking any Japanese girl in the ring, they're like, oh, that's not believable. It's like, fuck off. Like, fucking Marco Stunt has matches with people. Like, John Silver will fucking kill you. Like, I don't care if he's fucking 5 foot nothing. He'll fucking murder you. Like, it doesn't matter.
It's not like Riho in her matches, like, does a Riho flow chart and wins.
Yeah.
Like, she is usually always fighting from underneath and does like 14 knee strikes and a whole bunch of stomps and like strange pinning combinations that allow her superior technique to bring her the win.
Yeah, she has a specific strategy. If it was just she just wins, then yeah, that would be a problem. 100%. Like, if you don't tell a story in a match that makes any sense, it's just like the smaller person just, like, if Rio just had a match with Nyla and Nyla murdered her and then she just did some moves and won, yeah, it would suck. It'd be like, why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But she's a better wrestler than that, and they tell better stories than that. So, and it's Britt Baker also. Britt's not a monster. She has a good reputation in the the deathmatch stuff, but like, she's not a killer.
She's not an unstoppable monster.
No.
She is a chicken shit heel, which I appreciate.
Yeah, so realistically, even though Rio's quote unquote small, it's not like Britt is like gonna just dominate her in the ring. It's like, oh, okay. There's a slight, clash in that, but in physicality, but it's not like, again, if it's Riho versus Nyla, that's a totally different thing. But yeah, I would say Wing Pegasus in that case is Twitter trolls in general, in which case I say it goes to Jim Cornette.
Oh, God. Big
I don't know what he's complaining about currently because I don't keep up with it, but there's always people on Twitter and wherever else just parroting whatever dumb bullshit Jim Cornette is saying. I used to like Jim Cornette. I still do too. Like certain things about him, but like
here's the thing. Do I think that Jim Cornette has a interesting view of what wrestling should be? Absolutely. Is he in touch with like the modern day product? Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah. And the thing is, if he was just a cantankerous old man who had bad opinions, like, I agree somewhat with him saying like less is more.
Yes.
Because, and this goes back to the Harley race thing of last week, where like, these old school people will talk and be like, oh, you're devaluing the move, you're doing this, you can't do as much. Jim Cornette's big thing is like, bring back the rule of the closed fist, that way you can actually get something. And, like, if people like get hit with a chair, they should probably be out next week or something. I do agree with some of that.
I agree with that too. I actually was kind of upset when they did the concerto business and nobody took any, like, they didn't, people took quote unquote time off, but it wasn't because of the move. Like,
Yeah.
Like, Matt Jackson was literally like, they tried to kill me with that. I'm like, dude, you don't even have a neck brace on. You're standing there giving a promo. Like, you should be out of action. Even if it's just kayfabe, I know, because the move doesn't actually hurt. But, like, you sell it as death. It's ostensibly a chair shot to the head between another chair. You should be on the ground. You should be out. But they just kind of, they tried to kill me. And they didn't somehow, even though I was prone and laying on a chair. Okay. But so I agree with that. But yes, I also agree with you that it hits a point where it's like, dude.
But like, them being like, back in our day, we didn't do anything like that. And then you've got, Harley Race doing transitional pile drivers.
Back in our day, we never would have had dinosaurs wrestling with little jungle men, and then you go back and watch and Jim Cornette's on like Rise of the Skywalkers with fucking I'm pretty sure like Oz is on that show, for Christ's sake. Like, oh jeez. Like, I'm just saying, well, that might have been the Bash, but I'm just saying, like, shit, like, it was all the same time frame. Like, fuck off. That shit was happening left and right all over the place, and y'all just pretend that bad. There's a reason people always refer to the worst botch as the Shockmaster. Like, that shit's early 90s. You were running around in that. And I'm not saying Cornette liked that shit. I'm sure he hated it at the time. But it's always been happening, and it's going to happen. Like, don't pretend that...
And like, if this were his only sins, I would be like, yeah, he's an old man. You shouldn't listen to him all the time, but he still has, like, wisdom to be gained. I still think that Jim Cornette could be, in the right circumstances, a gold mine of experience to draw off of. But the big problem with Jim Cornette that I have is the fact that he is a racist, a homophobe, an absolute fucking degenerate ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Who, like, will constantly, like, fucking fat shame people and slut shame women, and like, he is literally every ism you can think of.
Yeah.
And that fucking sucks.
Yeah, he got fired for being a shithead and doubled down, which is really everything you need to know. Like, the minute people double down, and then Ric Flair is currently doing that shit. He's double downing, and it's like, nope, sorry, but I mean, Ric Flair, one of the greatest of all time, not going to take that away from him. But currently, shithead shouldn't really work anywhere, because I don't think anybody should want to pay him money for what he's doing. So, and Cornette, one of the greatest managers ever. He's a shithead. Oh, well. It just is what it is.
Absolute shithead.
It's like Chris Benoit. The Wing Pegasus. That's why it applies.
No, Chris Benoit has never done anything. Not finishing that. So
he's never done anything. He's been erased from history. He literally never did.
4,000 guitars and never drew a dime.
WrestleMania X blank never happened. No main event to that show. I think if you went on the network, it's like Shawn Michaels and Triple H battle for supremacy in the main event of WrestleMania 20.
It's just Eddie Guerrero hugging like a blank negative space where they've just like literally cut him out of the frames.
This is Joseph Stalin. Eddie Guerrero has a lot in common with Joseph Stalin, yeah. Anyway, that's us for the week. We will be back next week with more. I guess we're breaking into February. We're into February of AJPW.
Yeah, so we won't get back to the women's stuff until March, correct?
March, yeah. It's going to be a bit. Well, actually, it might be May, because I believe the last match was May. I'll have to check. But yes, it will be a little bit.
Yeah, let's double check, because I would like to see what the world of Joshi is doing.
I miss my Joshi very much. It was so good. It really built so quickly to be awesome. But that might be because we jumped to March and May. It might be.
Yeah. We can see the hated enemy Akira Hakuto You know, just no selling.
Queen Hakuto.
Her Queen Hakuto, fuck off.
You better be careful. I think she's still alive.
Oh no.
She'll come for you.
She will, probably. Yeah. She'll no sell my gunshot.
Friend of the show, Akira Hakuto.
Right. She just shows up. I open the door and my eyes go wide, and all of a sudden she's just slapping the utter soul out of my body.
Now I kind of want this to happen to me. No. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Whee!
Bye.